Good morning, folks. Hey, Gustavo.
Hello.
Thank
Good
you for
afternoon
coming.
here.
Let's see. It might be a little sparse today. I think a lot of people are taking vacation. No rest for the wicked. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
My video is going a little slow. I think I have too
Yeah,
much open.
I can hear you well.
Awesome. Thank you. What do I have running? Just giving it a few more minutes. I go ahead and paste the meeting link or the notes link into the chat. Right. Let's go ahead and get rolling while people are trickling in. I think it's going to be a little bit lower attended than usual because of folks returning from KubeCon and taking a break. A lot of people go on vacation this week anyway. Some quick housekeeping. I'm pasting the meeting notes document into the Slack. I'll keep doing that multiple times because as people join, Zoom doesn't preserve the chat history. So I'm posting the link into the chat there. As you join, if you can add your name to the attendee list under today's date, which is April 8th. So the 2025-04-08, that would be really helpful so we can keep track of who comes and when. For some quick housekeeping, just remember we try to, the CNCF tries to remain vendor neutral. We like to stick to the Chatham House rules. If you're not familiar with that, it's essentially definitely share your thoughts and feelings, but try not to mention company names and who you work for unnecessarily. Obviously, that contributes to who you are, but we're trying to make sure that we stay vendor neutral and don't king make and do all the good things there and make sure we focus on platform engineering as a topic and not necessarily use this as a promotional platform. So that said, we have a couple of new faces today. And hey, Lena, good to see you. We have a few new faces today. Gustavo, I think you've been in here before, or is it it's not your first time into these, right?
It's my first time.
Oh my gosh, but you've been around.
Always.
But yeah, Gustavo's new. Who else is new on here? It's hard to keep track.
I'm new as well.
Awesome. Great to meet you, Lutz. how do you say your name? Is it Lutz? Lutz?
Lutz, yeah, correct. Lutz.
Awesome. Good to meet you. And who else?
I would say I'm fairly new. I was here the last time and a couple of years ago, so very on and off. But yeah,
Say your name for folks.
Gopal here.
Paul. Yeah, it's great to see you. I remember us talking about you're a lurker, but we're gonna get you contributing. Yeah. And everybody else, I think, has been here before. So
Hi,
today
Colin.
is
I'm new as well, Mario de Armas.
yeah.
Well, okay. Thank you for welcoming into just lurking around today, just listening to everything that's going on.
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate you joining. So for the new folks, how did you guys find us? Were you aware of us? Is this your first time jumping on? Did you come to the platform coffees? Is it from KubeCon? How'd you find us?
Going first, I already know platforms, working group community ever since last year, maybe. I've been engaged on basically a lot of off-topic activities, basically just commenting out here and there. And on KubeCon, I was on the platform engineering first day, and on the opening notes, there was a big shout out to, hey, you should engage. So I decided to engage, and here I am.
Thanks, Gustavo.
I can go
Anybody
second.
else? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So I've been to one of the coffee platform talks at KubeCon. Dominic, who is Dominic and Puya work at the same company as I do. And Dominic mentioned it's a good idea, and I think I really like the content, and it's very much aligned with what I've done in the past. It's an important topic to where I work now, so that's why I'm interested and I'm joining.
Thank you for joining. Right. Well, let's go ahead and keep it rolling for time. We got a lot of discussion today. So other housekeeping. The past few months of meetings, we've had a heavy emphasis on what's going on with the TOC and tag restructure. We're not going to worry about that today. We'll continue to share updates, so definitely stay tuned. But we want to bring the focus of conversation back to platform engineering and the platform engineering topics as we work behind the scenes on some of that stuff. So the first thing that we want to go over today is some of the ongoing work and just surface opportunities for people to find ways to contribute. And then we have some discussion. I thought it would be good to focus some discussion around KubeCon recap and surface some favorite talks or maybe emerging topics and some other things there. And then if you have any other topics that you'd like to discuss, especially related to platform engineering or developer experience related things, definitely go ahead and add those. Feel free to add those to the list of discussions in the meeting notes. If we don't get to those today, we'll just go ahead and try to add them to the meeting notes for the next meeting as well. And that keeps us rolling with some predictable content. Let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as we roll through these for some convenience for folks that can't necessarily do those right now. Let me shrink this down so it's a little easier to see. Can everyone see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Right. Let's close that. So the first thing that we wanted to highlight is we do have a new LinkedIn page for the working group and for the community. So wanted to share the link there. What this looks like. Let's copy this. You can see my new tab. Well, this should. So if you haven't seen this yet, definitely try to give the page a follow. We're going to use this as a way to re-promote some of the content club content and other things that are going on, share other events and things that are happening throughout platform engineering, even beyond our own community. Make sure we champion the practice and make sure we champion the CNCF So if you don't have this yet, please give that a follow, and it'll help us keep you posted on things that are happening in the community. So the link to that here is in the meeting notes as well.
Sorry, can you post it? My company blocks me from any Google Drive that is not our own instance, so I'm not able to access that if you don't mind. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Do you have, would you like me to post the link, or are you looking for me to
Just
repost?
the link that you have on the screen right now highlighted, if you don't mind posting that one. Appreciate it.
Sure. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the working group Slack. Is that okay? Is that a good spot?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Just got that posted. I'll do the same for the other links too. The next, let me zoom this in so it's a little easier to see. The next as well is we have the ongoing platform as a product research. I've added some links to some ways to contribute here and get involved. But I saw that David's on the line. David, wanted to give you a chance. If maybe do you want to speak about some updates on that side?
Sure. There's not a whole lot of updates since the talk we gave in London, in that we have hit a point where we've done what kind of analysis we can with the amount of interviews that we have. And that's like 6 that we've been able to sort of process into transcripts and do some research on. And I think, what we need to do next is figure out, after, having a talk about it and such, if we can get some more interest in interviews, and actually get more scheduled and get more data available. But as Dominic talked about in the talk, which I'm hoping the videos will be up relatively soon, it's been somewhat difficult wrangling things, and it's not clear how it fits within the CNCF ways of doing things, because we had to do a lot of stuff on our own to make it happen. But if people are interested, and especially if some new people are here with either interest in participating in the interviewing, or have contacts that would be good candidates for being interviewed, feel free to get in touch with me, Michael Luskind, or Dominic Kress.
See, there is a Slack channel which is private for the platform as product research, which folks can receive an invite to. In order to get an invite for that, there is a sign-up form for becoming an interviewer or participating in the research. So I've included that link here, and I'm going to post that to Slack as well. Just did that. There's also a separate form for being interviewed as well, and resharing that form, or that link to that form as well. And then David and crew put together a self-service survey, which there's a link there as well if you want to contribute but aren't necessarily prepared to interview somebody or be interviewed. Are there any other assets that I'm forgetting there, David, that would be helpful?
No, I don't. Yeah, I think that's, we have if you look in the Git repository, under the platform as a product, there's some interview guidelines. You can take a look at the script that we're using, get an idea of how we're performing it. It's about a 45-minute to 1-hour interview. And it's neat. We've, even though we haven't been able to do that many interviews, we've gotten some good understanding of a few things at least. It'd just be great to do more. Gustavo, you've had your hand up.
Yeah, I had a hand up.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Very quickly, these forms, they are publicly available, right? So we can all just copy them, share to our own LinkedIn
Absolutely.
social
Yep.
profile, or do we want to?
Yep.
Okay.
No, you can share as you need. There's also a blog post we should stick in. Do you have the original sign up blog post? There you go.
Yeah, I'm actually adding that
There
right
it is.
now.
He's got it
I
right there.
remember that. I had it open on the tab, but forgot to copy the link.
Yeah. So yeah, this would probably be one of the helpful things to post, is it's a blog post about the research and a link to the form for signing up if you're interested.
I'll use my own network to try to propagate it so we get more people
Thank you.
involved.
I had a question. What kind of persona are we looking at for the interviewee?
We have a script for platform builders. I think we've been looking through platform, I think we could fairly quickly come up with a script for platform leaders as well. People who have more of an idea about the funding and decision-making prioritization stuff. But we also want to get to platform users. So if it's anyone involved with platforms that could give us some insight onto how the platform is managed in terms of deciding what to make, how to make it, how to support users, then be interested in talking to them. And then if we get those, we'll figure out a script that works.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, there's some questions in the interviewee form which ask about your role, and we have a pool of, I think it's over 60 right now. And we won't be able to get to everybody in certain roles until the scripts are developed for those roles, but still submitting and letting us know what roles are in there is really helpful so that we can prioritize. Moving along to some of the next topics. So there is still ongoing platform maturity assessment. I'm working to see what the state and status of some of the meetings and things are. Still, some of this was hung up in the transition with the tag restructure, but we'll be providing some more clarity and re-energizing some of those as well. But effectively, there's a group trying to develop a self-service assessment to help companies map themselves to and their platform maturity based on the platform maturity model. If you're interested in contributing to that and helping with that, I was going to say just express interest in the working group Slack channel, and we'll get people directed and sorted for that as well.
So Colin, I can give a little more
Sure.
background on that too. So we've been working to get a finalized, there's a smaller group. We had more general contributor sessions a few months ago, and then we got a sort of question set together, and we've been basically working to come up with a finalized set of questions for the self-assessment and also the form of them, how long, in sort of modeling it and actually running through the questionnaire, we discovered, it's a bit heavy the way it is. So we've been working on that, and we'll probably be getting back to it in another week. I think everyone was worn out from KubeCon. But the way that people could contribute coming up is once we have a sort of list of finalized questions, we're going to bring it to one of these meetings for people to review and possibly just do test run-throughs of the survey. And yes, TLDR looking for testers.
Yeah. So I added that as well to the list here. The next one is the Content Club. So there is a Slack channel for the Content Club. The Content Club is picking one topic a month and is resharing and reposting blog articles and topics that or blog articles and things that are related to those topics. It can be a recording, it can be just a written blog, really anything there. So join that, if you're interested, join that Content Club Slack channel. And it's just content-club, really easy to find. And you'll see some of the activity and folks in there. And I'm saving discussion about the topic. I think it would be a great way to get us into the discussion, some of the discussion today. But April's topic is how can AI help your platform engineers? And then obviously, we're interested in the CNPA, the Platform Associate, and the Platform Engineering Certification Program. There are review calls happening today and this week related to the content. If you're not already a part of that initiative, There is already an extensive list of contributors and an ongoing process there. I'll try to post the link for that the KubeCon attendees have for the summary of those as well, but definitely be on the lookout and try to promote the certifications there. Let's see. All right, does anybody have any other things that they wanted to highlight related to any ongoing work or questions on any of that above? Cool. All right, so discussion, the better parts. First thing that I was interested in is bringing up the content club topic. And it's always helpful to try to share some ideas back with the content club. If we don't ourselves have time to go write something and somebody else is passionate about one of the topics and can provide some insight and write their own, I think it's helpful to everybody. So just curious if anybody has any thoughts on the topic or has any ideas for blogs or topics related to the April topic. And again, that's how can AI help your platform engineers? Is anyone actively thinking about that, implementing that? What does AI mean to you guys right now?
On that, I think even getting to ask for the very first question, how AI is seen on platform as a whole would already be a topic. Because on my experiences, even though I know some enterprise tooling exists that promises to do everything for you, and some of them are AI based, there's a lot of reluctance to actually even use them just because of the nature of infrastructure setup. I mean, who really wants to share your own network security ring with a company to run an AI tool on a model that you don't know if it's going to even be used? You know, that's what I hear so far. So even how can AI help is, should AI be helping, might even be content on its own.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Stefan.
I think there is maybe two different topics with AI. Maybe we can agree on which one we want to look at. One is how can AI help platform engineering, so the platform engineers themselves? And the other side is how can platform engineering deal with AI workloads? Because I think maybe we should clarify if we want the one or the other, because else it will mix. It sounds like we want the first one at the moment.
Can you repeat the second one while I'm taking the note down?
About platform engineering for running AI workloads. Because I see where I am and also in other places that it's quite common that there is some teams started to look at AI and it's starting to be used by more and more teams. And so the question is this something that should be integrated in the platform at some point?
Yeah, so it's either AI for platform or platform for AI.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
Yeah, which in itself is a good question and a good topic to talk about.
In this topic, I read it as AI for platform engineers, from what I see it. And one of the things I was thinking about actually implementing, but also no time, but thinking about is a real practical situation where you could have agents working which are basically connected to your infrastructure. So it's basically a kind of assistance for your SREs. So an incident happens or a question comes into the platform team, and this agent is going to look at your docs, but also do tool calling, look at your Grafana, your Prometheus, find out what's going on, and then even make a decision to raise a pull request to fix the issue, or so it's like a full, the agent could raise the pull request that can help the platform team to kind of offload that part to reacting to incidents. And I think this is kind of already talked about a few places, I wanted to look into it. So that's an idea.
Yeah, does anybody else have any thoughts to expand on that? The quiet folks, maybe. Yeah, it's my thought is that it almost sounds like platform engineering for platform engineers as well. It's like, do we consider it for ourselves as a part of that, as a part of the platform? It's interesting.
I think there are multiple avenues one can look at this. One thing is for the people that are building the platforms, so the platform engineers, like we talked, but there's also the angle of looking at integrating AI tooling for the platform users in the end, right? We are, after all, building platforms that provide a service. And that service is sometimes maybe not very easy to use, or we could make it easier to use by employing AI tooling. And of course, the question is, where does this run? Is the company that I'm building this for tolerant to using AI tools that I employ by just using some API that runs somewhere, or does it need to be deployed on the platform, which complicates matters for the platform builders, of course. But when I look at the different AI use cases today and how I am using AI tools today, I'm seeing a pattern. And the pattern is make work that is manual and painful easier by employing AI tools. So I can, for example, more quickly deploy a new application on top of my platform, which when you look at the steps that you need to do as a user to deploy applications, it can be quite complicated, right? Depending on how paved the golden path is. But if I'm just deploying an application, and let's assume it's in a Helm chart, then maybe I need to provide certain values in a values YAML, or do I have a graphical user interface for that? How do I find out which values and which properties I need to fill with which values? This is, for example, a small use case that could make using a platform to deploy applications easier. That is one example. There might be more of these examples for the user side as well, which we haven't talked about yet.
Do you think there's a discussion in there as well for maybe for AI readiness, or even I think maybe related to platform engineering maturity? It seems like one thing that I've heard talked about a lot is the need to advance through every stage of maturity to verify that you have an understanding of how work needs to be done before you can optimize, right? Instead of jumping straight to optimizing. And I wonder if what you were talking about there is the ability to simplify or optimize or find more efficient ways to do some of the work. And the key there that's interesting is, what about the companies that don't quite know yet how they do the work or what work needs to be done, and how can introducing AI even make that more complicated, or can it be helpful? It's an interesting thought.
Well, I wanted to actually go back to, sorry, Colin, I didn't find the mute fast enough, to what Lutz said. And one of the things I found is documentation is always tough for technical people, unless I mean, some people are naturally good at it, enjoy doing it. But platforms are especially problematic when it comes to documentation, unless they're so intuitive to use that, they don't require, which is, the sort of the ideal goal. But when they're starting out, they often, they're pretty rough around the edges. And listening to a customer interview yesterday with someone who onboarded, they said they needed access to the person who built it, like from 15 minutes to an hour every day, in order to finish, getting their app up and running, and, over weeks. So I think one of the places AI could be super helpful, I've been pushing on in a number of places, is just transcripting and recording conversations like that and building knowledge bases for users of platforms like, oh, I'm trying to fill in this YAML file, that's the interface to your platform. I don't know what to put in here. And, this question has probably been answered over and over again. And if not actually generating the doc for the file, at least like have some suggestions of, oh, go comment this, comment that, and, add this bit of detail here. But in general, like the how things work and what's the overview of the thing. Another thing that AI could be good about extracting from a discussion and is often like it's easy to see and say the big picture. It's much more difficult to write it down. But I think you just get people talking and then let an AI sort out, what it looks like in words. Basically, they're good at that. They're good at extracting overviews, and as long as you give them enough stuff, which an hour-long discussion should be more than plenty.
Yeah, I think that's a great point.
Lutz, are you looking for the mute?
I'm skeptical. I think it's helpful, but one of the big pains that I have when I'm deploying applications is going through the pages and pages of documentation and find out the right properties and values that I need to fill in, and then I need to test them out to really see if they work, for example. So yes, you could try generating the documentation. Will it be valid and hold? And will that be helpful, right? But it needs to be verified and curated to really make sense, and it needs to be kept up to date. So I'm skeptical on how much value that really brings in the end. It will generate something, so you will have a check mark on your list. That is something that I'm sure of.
Your goal is to have sometimes in these situations better than nothing, right?
Yes.
If you can minimize the requirement of needing meetings every day, right? I agree that complicated text file interfaces to platforms are just difficult, right? And maybe the requirement for lots of documentation is sometimes a problem in and of itself. It's code smell. But you also have situations like we were talking with someone, no cloud experience before. So needed some real basic, just background on why they're doing what they're doing as part of it too.
Yeah, in these situations, this can help, of course. But my point was for the AI tooling, I think it's most valuable to find tedious tasks that you need to do anyway and make them easier with the AI and LMM tooling that's available today, rather than looking at the, okay, let's do root cause analysis of what went wrong in our system by ingesting all the logs that we have and all the metrics that we can see, because that will probably, in most cases, not help you, and it's wishful thinking, at least.
Yeah, there might be a lot of things wrong that aren't actually affecting you too. And now all that you've done is created toil in some cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an interesting thing in there for me, which is understanding what the work needs to look like, understanding what the ideal looks like, and defining that. And I think you're both definitely right, in my opinion, which is I think we can leverage come on, phone, I'm not talking to you. Like my phone, the AI on my phone is trying to transcribe me when I don't want it to. So there you go. But absolutely, there's strength and gathering all the information from the discussion and building some things there, but we might need to find a way to inform the AI what the output needs to look like and the landing zone for that. And so if we can define that, then it solves hopefully both needs. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing more and more practical implementation and proof of this working, because we hear a lot of people getting caught up in the ideal, all of the coulds, would, shoulds, have, or like might, instead of showing what is actual. Chris and Marsh, you guys just joined. We're going over some ideas or thoughts on the Content Club topic for April. How can AI help your platform engineers?
Thanks. I was following the cursor in another meeting. I just couldn't join until now.
Yeah, I'll repaste the link in there for convenience for you guys.
So what are you looking for exactly? This is some people will create content based on our ideas, and that will be published somewhere, or what's the angle with this discussion?
So just sharing information about what are the things we're thinking about related to AI.
Okay.
And if at the end of the day, some of these notes provide some helpful guidance or something that somebody says, hey, I'm passionate about this, I've hit this issue, and they want to go write about it, then that's, I think, beneficial to us all.
Okay.
And I think, Lutz, are you aware of the Content Club mission as well?
I would love for you to recap that for us, Mark.
Okay, sure. I'll do a quick recap. I haven't been super involved recently. I started a new thing. It's kept me busy. The Content Club idea is just basically like, there are lots of topics that deserve more attention. And if we maybe prompted people and sort of did this work together and each brought our own perspective on a specific topic, it might organize things better. It would give people something to write about and others to collaborate with around ideas like this. But more importantly, it's that we can support each other by linking to other pieces from our own. So it's like, web rings type stuff from decades past. The idea that you can link to other pieces and draw attention to other people and have attention drawn to what you write. It's just, how do we show up as a community and support each other better and tell the stories to ourselves and to each other?
Thanks, Marsh. That was awesome. Stefan, your hand's been up.
Yes, about this AI topic, there was actually an interesting presentation by Spotify at KubeCon, who were describing how they used AI to reduce toil. And what was interesting is that they said that doing this actually improved the documentation because people had an incentive. So they say they frame it as we create the best documentation with AI, but we use AI so that there is less toil for support. And they say doing that, then the support people realize that if they document something well, then the topic is not going to come back to us, to them.
Do you remember what the talk title was?
I can look for it. I will post it.
That would be awesome. I appreciate it. And we're going to share all this back to the Slack channels and things as well. Does anyone have any more thoughts on the AI side? We can jump into a KubeCon recap discussion. Right, let's go ahead and move on. For KubeCon recap discussion, I've got a few topics in here. Feel free if anyone wants to talk about something in particular related to this. The first one was feedback for Platform Coffees and the working group update. The next was, what were your favorite talks? And then the final one that I just preceded the list with was, what were your favorite topics? Or are there some emerging topics or some things that you learned, or that new things that came up for you, or things that you just thought were important, and what were those? So to start, and absolutely heard on Gustavo's point there. So feedback for Platform Coffee as well as the Platform Engineering Day working group update. One of the things that we had multiple people mention, that Gustavo, you're mentioning here as well, is that it was tough for people who couldn't get there before we started to feel included and find ways to join in to the different groups. And there were some different situations on different days. We were just trying to adapt. And we were really excited about the popularity. What we did the final day is we went ahead and split out into 3 different groups to make it a little bit more accessible. And then also a learning lesson for me was we'll have the community leaders and folks just on the lookout and trying to curate and help people get into the conversations as opposed to participating in the conversations was a lesson learned for me, especially. But was there any other feedback either from Platform Coffee, like, or the working group update? Like, how can we get better? How can we further the community? Does anyone have any thoughts or things to share there?
The platform coffee was great for me. I was joining for the first time. We got into really in-depth conversation after the coffee with some folks, so that was great. And I'm curious about the cadence. Is now weekly, right? So where can I get this?
So the platform coffee we do, so I'll put in the link to the thing that I host, and it feels like maybe there's some confusion. Like there's a platform coffee we do at CNCF that's kind of CNCF associated and sort of follows rules for hosting and things like that. The thing I did that I do every week is something out of the it's actually the platform engineering Slack, platformengineering.org Slack, but I kind of moved it across Slacks and advertise it. And it's essentially a Google group you get an invite from. So join that group that I just posted in Zoom and you'll get the recurring invites for it. And I may do something like I was just thinking this week, maybe make a page on LinkedIn or something like that, kind of like the working group did. So even though there are people from the working group who attend and I advertise it there, we get people from all over. So it's not limited to working group topics or anything like that.
I'll sign up over there. Thanks.
Sure.
Yeah, David, is it okay if I add that to the
Absolutely, yeah.
Platform Coffee? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't think to even bring it up in London at just the regular, the in-person coffees. So
It is how we keep some of the conversations going, and some of the same faces jump on those coffee chats, so that when we do get to KubeCon, there are some friendly faces there, right? That you've seen before. And I had my hand up, so maybe I'll just go, Colin. One of the kind of proud moments of KubeCon actually came for me from the platform mornings. We had a new joiner who'd turned up from Aberystwyth University. And during the week, he just so happened to bump into us at his hotel. We were there having a works evening, and he looked around. He's, "Oh, I know you. I'm going to come across and chat to you." And then he got introduced to kind of the younger members of the team who hadn't been to platform coffees. They all started kind of interacting, and I went away for a while, came downstairs, and he's downstairs in our corporate thing, eating all the food, drinking. He doesn't drink, but he was drinking the Cokes and stuff, right? And carrying on the conversation. I'm like, that's the power of the coffee meetups. Really good. And he said it himself. He was there on his own. He was determined he was going to meet people, and that's how he did it. So it definitely works. It was really good. Friday, I think, took on board that feedback from Gustavo about joining and the different teams.
Okay.
I think somebody else is talking.
Lutz, you need to mute, I think.
You have a hot mic.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Breaking into those little teams definitely helped. I enjoyed that compared to the first day. I mean, it was maybe a slightly better venue than what we had in Salt Lake City, but it was still noisy, right? Because it was just in the main corridor, and I did notice it maybe, about 8:30, it started to get really noisy all of a sudden. 7:15 was lovely. So we just get going and we're getting into good conversations, and then the noise just got phenomenal. But it was definitely better than the coffee shop.
Yeah. And we'll keep searching for the perfect venue.
A room would be nice, right? At some
Yeah.
point, but
I thought that they had the area next to the badge pickup, which was just all benches, right? Like one of the seating areas for lunches. It was just not in use. I mean, it could have been there.
yeah, there's a lot like that. That hey, having Abby, now in
Yeah.
CNCF is going to help, right? um, definitely a conversation with Abby about that one.
Everyone's gonna want their pony. Yep.
Yeah. The one thing I was going to add as well, which I haven't typed in yet, I failed miserably to do any round table stuff at lunchtime because I had a very different role this KubeCon. I had 24 people from my organization hosting 18 of them. I couldn't do that. I could barely meet all of them. So,
Yeah,
and
I
it was
didn't really do anything either, and it seemed kind of difficult to do. One interesting thing I saw is that they seem to have a cordoned off area for a Kubernetes contributor like meet and greet sort of thing during lunch. And that I don't like tables that just have signs on them because that doesn't necessarily break, that you don't get the critical mass necessary to get conversations going sometimes. So, maybe staking out and advertising a table for the lunches or something. Anyway, we can iterate in Atlanta and keep going.
hopefully I start working on my boss on that tomorrow. No, Thursday.
Mm,
Well, I started working on them at KubeCon, right? So
yeah. Maybe you won't have 25 people going though.
hopefully it's just me again, Dave.
Yeah, one thing that's on our radar as well is being able to apply for maybe our own booth next year, our own project booth. And I also saw the tables that you're talking about, David, as well. I don't think we were aware that they were doing reserved tables. And so
Mhm.
just making sure that we're aware of all the resources at our disposal for Atlanta.
Yeah. And the other thing is, when we broke out, it kind of got more people engaged in doing actual facilitation too, which is nice. Um, that we'll keep building up because if you make something really popular, you have a lot of people attending. And I have seen the Dora group runs a 50 to 70 person lean coffee, and I think it's not as much of a group discussion. It works, but I feel like if we keep growing this and getting it more popular, if you have 50 people show up, you need a way to break it out, and that means having more people able to do facilitating.
We had quite a lot. I didn't do the count, but we had a look on the picture. We had a lot in Salt Lake City. Remember the day where we all kind of
Yeah,
stood in a
yeah,
big huddle? And to be honest, that worked even for latecomers, where a lot of people were coming in late and just were joining the circle and just listening at different
yeah,
points. And it was a very different experience, I would say, from London, which I quite liked as well. Each one's had a little different feeling. Paris had a different feeling. Paris was a quiet hotel, a sit down, we were
yeah.
having breakfast. It's only a few people. That was quite good. Salt Lake City was very different, stand up in a coffee shop. This one, we broke into little groups. So each one's been kind of iteratively changing and just reacting to the situation, which would be nice as well.
Being flexible.
Yeah.
And
Next.
another one was maybe a handout, like if we had handouts with like the rules and
Or
tips.
just explaining what a lean coffee is. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
Spend a lot of time.
probably yeah.
I'll bring
Yeah.
the stationery pack next time, David, right?
Well, we'll be local. So I had the one from Salt Lake City. I just didn't pack it. I assumed someone local would have something.
Yeah.
So I've got many Post-its and pens. Well, now I've bought even more pens. So, but the other thing I could see is encouraging um, people to connect somehow. Like that was, people walk away from these and like, it's difficult enough to remember names and remember to connect. So it'd be neat to have some easier ways of, putting LinkedIn links somewhere or something like that for people to, be able to get together. Like in the online coffees, people just throw their links in Zoom or something. It's not as easy to do in person.
Yeah.
Unless you encourage it specifically connected. Like sometimes just people need the little prompt, like, you know, and when we're done, make sure you connect to people on LinkedIn. I
Let's go
like the
ahead.
handout. I like the handout idea though, Colin. That I think that would make it much, much easier.
Yeah, just even like the full page, even as almost an advertisement for what coffee is. I'm sure I could see
Yeah.
people taking that and giving it to somebody later. Let's go ahead and for time, let's move on to the talks. Like I said, the favorite talks. So people are kind of adding things on the fly. Does anyone want to just give us a quick what the talk was and one sentence on why it was important, and we can ping through some of these. Like Stefan, you have a couple. Gustavo had one.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I really like that talk by Hazel as well, actually. I've sent it to our managers to improve hiring. I think that was quite good. Yes, then as I said, I found that there was the talk by Royal Bank of Canada and Humanitech was really good to introduce platform engineering to security people, because it had both a tech part of security, so that they look at what happens, and I found it very interesting to explain to be able to explain them what does product thinking means, and that they need to take care of the user and not only the security issues. And then so the Camille Fournier, I think I don't need to present. And what I was just mentioning about Spotify.
I'm impressed you got the session.
Feedback about. Sorry, I heard very good feedback about David's talk, but it was the same time as mine, so I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, and I would love to have access to more of them. I haven't seen them. There seem to be maybe slow posting.
Recordings.
Yeah. Also, I missed a lot of talks just because I had two that day and needed to put all the finishing touches on things. So I only made it to like one or two talks and later in the afternoon.
Yeah, the good part and the bad part was it was such a large track this year. So Platform Engineering Day and then all of the others. Does anyone else have any? Chad, I see your hand is up.
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask where are the talks located? Because I wasn't able to attend.
They're not, they will be on the CNCF YouTube channel when they've posted a few things, but it's coming out slowly. But I would imagine another week or two they'll all be up there.
And if you check
Okay.
on the Shedley page as well, the talks themselves, a lot of presenters will put the talk slides there as well.
Yeah.
I really liked Kat Morris's talk on kind of product. I found that really useful. I've been referencing that a couple of times since I came back. I didn't get to many talks because I had lots of business meetings and stuff, but that was one of the ones I went to. There were a lot of points that she made in there, and a lot of links to kind of product management type thinking and you know, books to read and things like that that I've been referencing already. So someone found that one useful.
Can you by chance add that one to the doc there, Chris?
Yeah, I will do. I will do.
I just did it in the chat, so it's easier to get to the link to the doc again.
I think she's posted the slides as well, but I'll have a look.
Did anyone did anything? We only have 5 minutes left. It's okay if people need to bounce. Does anyone have any like new or emerging topics or trends or things that maybe came out of KubeCon that they wanted to highlight?
Yeah,
Chris.
I mean, you kind of covered it earlier when you started talking about AI. I had a really good conversation with Kyle, who overnight went away and demoed up a chat interface MCP type thing to do platform and security, and it was like blew my mind. Some of the stuff that he just concept overnight. Really need to dig into that. I mean, David and everyone else knows I am John Connor when it comes to AI, right? So, not the thing I love the most, but seeing someone putting a chat prompt up to provision products and infrastructure was like, go and build me an AKS cluster. It goes off and it does it. There's no backstage, there's no anything. That was kind of showing if we already moved away from backstage, right? Is that how people are going to do it?
Chat ops. Yeah. Back to chat ops.
Right.
Wait, so you're the John Connor of AI. Does this mean AI is trying to kill you, Chris? That's what I took away from that.
Exactly.
Okay, just checking.
Give me my shotgun.
Come with me if you want the platform.
Sehr gut, Marsh.
Yeah, go ahead, David.
So sorry.
Yeah, well, one of the things I saw starting to happen, which I'm actually quite excited about, is, the idea that the platform needs to start looking further up than the infrastructure. And, some lightning talk stuff from the, what was it? The application developer working group or I can't remember the specific name. Monoborum had that, lightning talk about cloud native adoption and sort of taking that full circle of, you need the developers and infrastructure people and everyone actually, um, participating and going to cloud native. So, and there's also the 12-factor people were there that I actually got connected with that are, trying to look at like what is, we talk about developer platforms, but developer experience is kind of lacking if we're just giving them, a simpler way to run Terraform. So they're actually looking at like developers don't deploy all the time. They develop all the time and they deploy some of the time. So how do you take care of the thing that they're doing all the time? And they had some ideas around that too.
Your point about platforms need to think higher level than infrastructure. That sounds evocative of the platform of platforms talk the discussions we were having a year ago ish. Is that a topic that's just disappeared? Is it reshaped in some form?
It hasn't disappeared. I think, and Colin, I think this was your push back then, but I would say that even in the like what I'm seeing working, with like kind of client stuff is there's already this need to get people to understand that you don't just throw everything into the platform because it's becoming like another ops team in a sort of way. Like we're just going to dump everything in this one place and we'll either lose our jobs or get to, just sit back and relax once the cloud team / platform / whatever takes care of it. So, a specific example like, oh, you need to create a virtual desktop platform, all right? Or you need to move your virtual desktops from data center to cloud. All right, that doesn't mean you're just going to dump them on cloud. It means you're going to create a virtual desktop platform on top of a lower level cloud infrastructure platform. But that's going to be a little bit of a journey.
Yeah, Mark,
I think the tension we have over and over again, the platform engineering, like so much of our motive power is around the infrastructure abstractions. But like there are many kinds of platforms, and platform engineering I think we should be wary of conflating it with infrastructure platforms. Sorry, Colin, go.
No, I agree. There was an interesting thing that came up a few times too, which was, is there a way to include design as a first-class citizen in the platform engineering process? To that, I think absolutely there definitely is. That's a great way to create the conversations. But I think as like to answer your question, Marsh, I'm like, well, maybe it's just been reframed, right? Yeah. I think people are understanding that that understanding of what your users need and what they're like, what job they're trying to accomplish, and finding ways to reduce. It's not overlap. I can't use the words. finding ways to find those common threads and align those different value streams across the different groups of users and bring things together is a big part of that from an intentional platform engineering focus. But understanding from their perception, the tools and things that they use, to them, they will perceive as their platform or something, right? It's just part of a greater whole. And I think it's the maturity that we're developing in the practice is kind of maybe breaking down the barriers of, is it one platform, is it multiple platforms, and how we define that. So I'm curious to see some evolution in that.
When you say involved design, were you thinking in the user experience of the infrastructure platform, or were you thinking of design systems like a platform for design, or both?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
It's like moving to product, and then do we bring in design thinking? And there's all kinds of ways. I'd be interested to see some content.
I would argue that if you aren't bringing in design, you aren't considering your platform as a product. Like for me, platform as a product requires resolving the tension between the business need, the user need, and the technology you're working from. So anyway, we can talk about that for another hour. We're over time.
Just give the damn thing a name too.
We've got to kick off here so that everyone can leave and get to meetings. But really appreciate everyone coming today. We know it was a small crowd because it's right after KubeCon, but stay in tune, get into the Slack channels. Keep an eye out for other changes and announcements and things as they come. And again, thank you guys for contributing here.
Yeah. Have a good one, everyone.
All right. See you guys later.
Bye-bye.
And I rejoined the wrong meeting. God damn it. And you didn't leave. You're still here.
I exited. I don't know what's going on anymore. Yeah, it's fine. I'll get out of here.
It's good to see you, by the way. It's been too long.